What do you do?
We're just going to make sure that it's coming through on the old YouTube. And if you can already see us, just give us a second, guys, so we can make sure that we've actually started. Yes, we have. And if you can already see us, just give us a second, guys, so we can. There we go. Muted and sorted. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Those Vegan Guys channel with our wonderful guests this evening, Bob and Fran Gurman, hard G, from the. Tell everyone the name of your channel, guys. It's linked in the description.
Sure.
I love it.
The name of our channel is Young at Any Age, and so we're about aging, health, with good health and vitality.
Fabulous. As soon as I kind of saw your comment on one of our videos a few months ago, I had a look at your channel and I was just like, look at this pair. Just proving that it doesn't matter when, it's that you make the change that makes the difference. So if you don't, I know we should never ask a lady's age, but Bob and Fran, if you wouldn't mind telling us your ages.
Oh, no.
She's older than me, so she goes first.
3 months older. I'm 80 and a half. Okay.
So we've been on this planet for 9 decades.
It's our 9th decade.
Wow. Yep. And you both look utterly fabulous.
Thank you.
We eat our veggies. We eat our veggies, man. That's what.
And there you go. So tell us, you've got a really interesting story, and I know that it encompasses illnesses with you both, and then a change of lifestyle. Tell us about that, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll begin. In 1992, I was 52 years old, and I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called Myasthenia Gravis. Now, many of you may not be familiar with that because it's not as popular as MS or lupus or other autoimmune diseases.
Right.
But it's very debilitating. At the time we were both working in real estate, and I couldn't work. I couldn't drive. I was so weak. I could hardly keep my head up. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I went through so much misery over the years. I had a growth on my thymus gland that had to be removed. It was just a very, very bad time. And so, when I was diagnosed, my doctor said, number 1, it's incurable. Number 2, you'll have to be on medication the rest of your life. And number 3, your life will be shortened.
Wow.
Yeah. One of our favorite words is nocebo.
Like
now, placebo. You know what a placebo is. That's a sugar pill. Well, a nocebo is when you go to the doctor and he tells you that you have something terrible and you'll never get better, you know. And that's what he said to me. But I decided that I was going to do everything I could to contradict him.
Well, let me just interject that we were able to afford to travel to 11 different neurologists, hoping and praying we would get some kind of more positive reaction from them. No. But every single one of them said the same thing. And so it was a very tough time for us.
And needless to say, never did a doctor talk about diet.
Never.
Okay. So I took it upon myself to do whatever I could to get as strong as I could. I took a variety of supplements. I exercised as best as I could each day. I thought I was eating healthy because I was eating white meat chicken and white meat turkey and fish and lots of vegetables. But I got somewhat better, but I never got well enough to be normal. When all this was happening, we were living in South Florida, and there are millions of people around, and I never met a single person with myasthenia gravis. In 2003, we moved to the small town in Western North Carolina. And the first week we were here, Bob saw in the newspaper that there was a myasthenia gravis support group in the local hospital. So I started going to these meetings, and let me tell you, I saw some really sick people.
It was not good.
One thing I noticed was that everybody had more than one disease. They had more than just myasthenia gravis. They had heart disease. They had cancer, diabetes, you name it. Just think about it. When the body breaks down, it doesn't necessarily limit to one disease. Fortunately, I didn't have any other disease because I was doing as much as I could to keep myself healthy. But I still couldn't get really well. Then, you know, there's an expression. I don't know if you have this in Europe, but in America, there's an expression: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yes.
And
I made that up, really.
No. We went to a support group meeting. Once they had a dietitian come to speak. And with a slide presentation, he showed how even white meat chicken compromises the immune system. And I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, and he recommended reading the China Study by Colin Campbell and Diet for a New America by John Robbins.
Right.
Okay. Now, I went home, got both books and read them cover to cover, and immediately, you know, went on a whole food plant-based diet. Now, we had several friends in this group, and I have to tell you that in the next year or so, all of them died.
All
Not
of them.
from myasthenia, but from heart disease or diabetes or cancer. Okay, because their bodies had broken down.
And they really didn't go with the instruction.
No, they didn't follow anything he said.
That the guest speaker had to say about nutrition.
Right, right.
So they would eat their little sugar cookies during
you know, they
during
would serve
these talks.
They would serve junk food at the meetings.
We've had similar situations ourselves without going into specific details, but particularly certain diabetic support groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Often you'll find that they're not always the best at self-care.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, of course.
We're with you.
Let Bob tell you his story, and then we'll talk about some other things that we did.
So I've always tried to keep myself physically fit, and I got into power walking, like race walking. So it's this exaggerated walking thing. So you're swinging your arms and you're pushing off with each step. And I would do like 6 to 8, 10 miles a day. And it really, it kept me fit. Fran did her best at the time to do some of it as well. So I was used to doing it on a certain surface. And then I switched. That was like a little softer, like a grass. I think it was more of a grassy area, and it worked out fine. And I did that for a long time. But then I switched to a harder surface to test it out, and I did that for a few weeks, and I developed a discomfort in my groin. And geez, when it comes to the private parts, you know, I needed to do something about it. So I called a urologist, and he examined me, and he said, you know, I can't find anything. He said, but you're a guy that does not like to go to doctors, and maybe we should check it out. Maybe we should go a little further and do a CAT scan, which I didn't want to do a CAT scan because the radiation dosage high, and so, but I did. I was scared. And so they did the CAT scan, and he came back with the results. I returned to his office a few days later, and he said, Bob, he said, I can't find anything wrong with the groin area. I think you pulled a muscle down there because you switched the surfaces on which you were walking. But I want you to take a look at this. And he shows me on a screen that there was a growth on my left kidney. And he said, because it's on the edge of the kidney, it's a tricky type of thing. You can't really biopsy this, because if the needle pops it or something, if it was cancerous, it could go throughout your whole body.
Right.
So he said you need to go to a specialist. And fortunately, just about 4 hours from here, there is is called the Duke Medical Center. It's an international place. It's very
people come from all over the world.
It's quite well known.
Yeah.
I found a urologist there that I did a lot of research, and he did agree to see me. And he was only one of 2 urologists in the country that could perform something called a cryoablation surgery. Cryo. So he wound up freezing off this tumor. So he used some sort of freezing mechanism, and then the tumors just sort of like dissipated, just kind of.
He said it was like hitting a golf ball off a tee.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when he did take that off, he did do some biopsies after that, and he found what he said, we did 3 biopsies, 2 were normal, but the third one indicated that you have renal cell carcinoma. And I said, what did you say? I couldn't believe my ears. Renal cell carcinoma. I said, well, what does that mean? He said, that means cancer of the kidney. Mm-hmm. So he said, but there's good and bad news here. I said, well, what's the good news? The good news is that he got it all. He said it all came off, and he said, I feel good about the surgery. What's the bad news? Well, the bad news is that this type of cancer is known to return, is known to come back. And he said, we have to be watching it. And then we said our goodbyes. No
mention of any change in lifestyle.
He didn't tell me to, do anything. He said, we'll just watch it. So on the way home from that office visit, we had a 4-hour drive, and we decided that we both had to make a very strategic lifestyle change. We couldn't just go on like this. We had to do something. We had to be proactive. And the first thing was that we had to change our eating regimen. So from then on, it was totally plant-based, no eating meat, no eating dairy products at all, no eating packaged foods, processed foods. And that was 15 years ago. Now, the moral of our stories is this. For me, I learned that eating a whole food plant-based diet was a preventative. It enabled me to ward off this darn cancer and every other disease. So I'm feeling, in my 80s now, I feel better than ever. I've got more energy than my grandkids. And for Fran, the whole food plant-based diet, moral of the story is you can actually reverse a chronic disease. So for any of you out there that are watching, I would encourage you to, if you're thinking about going plant-based, get into it, give it a try. Try it at least for a month. This is a perfect month. And the guys will tell you about this month. If you're on a plant-based and you're struggling, go keep it up. Work your way through it. Don't give up. Don't fall off the back porch, as we say here in the South. And if you can just stay the course, you will be amazed how much better you will feel, how much better you will look, and how much you'll be able to do. as you age. So I'll just close by saying our whole intention, our intention of our life, our intention of our little YouTube channel is about healthy aging. Getting older does not mean getting sicker. And I don't know what the exact numbers are in the UK, but in America, people aren't really living longer. They're dying longer. They reach, 62, 68, and they're starting to break down because in the end, it's what you eat that counts. That is the key to healthy living. Of course, there are other things that we would advocate, but food. Eat like your life depends on it.
Because it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does, doesn't it?
I think most people take better care of their automobiles than they do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Putting junk in their gas tank, but they put junk in their mouths all the time. Now, another problem, at least in the US, I don't think you have this problem in Europe. We have commercials on TV all the time.
Adverts, they call them.
Okay, you call them adverts for prescription drugs. And what they do is they have these people smiling and happy while they're telling you that this drug can kill you. Okay? I mean, literally. And then, of course, they say, ask your doctor if this drug would be good for you. I mean, I'm old enough to know that there was a time when you went to the doctor and the doctor told you what you should take. Now you go to your doctor and tell him what you should take. That makes no sense.
It's a marketing thing.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's our stories, guys. And if you have any questions about that part of it,
I just wanted to add one thing.
Go on.
It's never been easier to go on a plant-based diet. When we started this 15 years ago, there was very little on TV and books. Now there's a whole section in a bookstore of vegan cookbooks.
Absolutely.
But what I do, I Google. Whenever I want to make something, I Google it, and I get a vegan version.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, I am going to make vegan shrimp scampi.
Fabulous.
With mushrooms.
Just for the record, by the way, our advertisements over here are very similar.
Yeah.
We have advertisements for fast food, junk food, alcohol, and medication.
Yeah.
Then holidays and lawn companies.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I just have to tell you one thing. We don't watch TV much, but there is one commercial that we keep seeing over and over and over again. I won't even mention the name of the company, the name of the restaurant, but they are advertising a sandwich. And I Googled how many calories and how many fat grams in the sandwich. There were 65 fat grams and 950 calories in this one breakfast sandwich. And this is what people are eating. The lobby at McDonald's every morning is around the building.
I think picking up on what you'd said before as well is that whole thing around. I think it's really important what you both said about how do you want to be able to live in your later years?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And doing everything you can to be as mobile and well.
Yeah. Exactly.
In those 30 years. Yeah.
So can I ask you, I've got a couple of random questions, and then what I'll do is I'll say to everyone watching, if you have any questions, write them all in capitals so that we know it's a question, and we can put it up on the screen for Bob and Fran to take a look at. But I wanted to ask you, who's the main cook out of you both? Main
cook? Only cook. I clean.
I'm the main cleanup person.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's me.
You share that with. So, Fran.
Yes.
How how easy did you find it 15 years ago to suddenly incorporate only whole food, plant-based food into your diet? And were there any things that you really missed at the start?
Well, first of all, my motivation was extremely strong because I had been so sick for so long. Okay. I really admire anybody who switches to a whole food, plant-based diet while they're healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. But for anybody who is sick and doesn't, I don't get it. Why would anybody want to be so sick? Let me just incorporate one little thing. I think we all know that certain cancers are hormone driven. Okay. Dairy obviously is a hormone product, and breast cancer and prostate cancer are the two most popular hormone driven cancers. Yet we have 3 friends who died in the last few years from prostate cancer because they refused to give up dairy. I mean, how much motivation do you need?
Yeah,
I know, but we always say, Fran, one thing I've always been able to do throughout my kind of 7-year journey so far. But before that, I was vegetarian for 20 years. But I've never forgotten ever how difficult it was for me to acknowledge that I needed to change.
Yeah. Well,
that's what it boiled down to.
Sure.
I had convinced myself that eggs and dairy could be sourced ethically and that the animals were not harmed, and nothing could sway me from that. Until, for me, my catalyst was a documentary called Veganuary.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it.
Yeah, but it still took me twice viewing it. I saw it the first time and it planted the seed, and the seed started to grow. And then a guy that I was working with at the time said, I was talking to him about it, and he said, "Can we watch it? Would you watch it again with me?" And I said, "Yeah, go on." And it broke me. I let it in. That's what happened the second time. I let it in with no guard up. And the second it finished, I said, I am going home and I'm going to give away every vegetarian food item in my house. From this point forward, I'm vegan.
Okay.
And we were.
Yeah. But it's exactly the same with the, I mean, obviously, you know, people often go whole food plant-based for many, many different reasons. And, you know, Fran, you'd mentioned, obviously, you was incredibly kind of motivated at the time, which was a great thing. I think the other thing as well is that in the same way that people can often sort of self-blinker to the cruelty aspect, in the same way, particularly within the European world, we see that people sort of blinker themselves to the impact that meat and dairy is having on their own health. They'd rather just not think about it at all until it gets to the point where it's potentially too late almost.
Yeah. Now, you have to understand that we went plant-based strictly for health reasons at first.
Yeah.
Okay. I find from my reading and my research that most younger people tend to go vegan for the animals.
Yes.
Okay. That kind of creeps in after.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, for us, you know, first it was the health, then it was the environment, and then it was the animals.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we get a kick out of people, you know, petting their dog and eating a hot dog. I mean, they make no connection between that animal and this animal. And but
for a wider berth.
Oh, there you go. That's better, isn't it?
That's a bit better.
hey, after that chocolate, now you need more room.
Kelly has asked, she says, "Thank you for coming on here tonight. You are so inspirational. Do you ever eat vegan treats, or are you 100% whole food plant-based?" Good question, Kelly. Thank you. Kelly's one of our moderators. Thank you for all your help.
Okay, how are you going to answer?
Okay, Kelly, I appreciate the question. And to answer it, do you ever eat vegan treats, or are you 100% whole food plant-based? I would say our answer is both. So, for example, last night, Fran made my favorite vegan dessert. Fran calls it nice cream.
Oh, so yes.
Okay.
It's an ice cream substitute.
Frozen bananas.
Yep.
It's a banana based with last night she made what we call butter pecan. There's no butter, but it sure tastes like old-fashioned butter pecan ice cream. So there's pecans,
little maple syrup, maybe some chocolate.
I
didn't put any chocolate bits in it.
No, but so you can be whole food plant-based and
whole food plant-based vegan treats.
Yeah, and I know the guys like very good vegan chocolate after dinner.
We always have good chocolate.
We have a lot in common with them.
We're chocoholics.
So that's a nice treat. Oh yeah, when Fran makes this nice cream with some cocoa in it,
organic cocoa powder.
Oh man, it's like the real deal.
And did you ever have chocolate brownies made with black beans instead of flour?
No.
So good.
They are good. Kelly, I hope that answers your question. So it's more than like our treats are more than like eating a carrot or a celery stick. So you can have a little dessert that's special and still walk the right path, I guess we said. Okay.
Oh, wonderful. There we go. Yes. Peter says, do you make anything from Dr. Gregor?
We love Dr. Gregor. He is our guru.
He's our doctor.
We really admire him, and he's probably one of our favorite people to follow. We use some of his recipes. Frankly, I can't even tell you whose recipes I use. I just Google what I want, and I will tell you this. There's a young woman who we know who actually lives in North Carolina, and she got her certification from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine from the Neil Barnard group, and she teaches cooking, and I took 2 cooking classes with her, so she's probably my first go-to for recipes, all whole food plant-based. But
can I give you another example though? You can go to the internet. Like Fran and I were lucky enough to, we spent 9 years in Thailand. We have
every winter for 9 years.
We have an anti-child trafficking organization there. But we could walk to like 40 different restaurants that were.
Yeah, let me just explain. First of all, Thai people don't eat dairy, so that part isn't an issue. They do eat eggs, but an egg on top of a dish can easily be left out. So we could literally walk to 40 different, they call them vegetarian restaurants at the time.
They're really vegan restaurants, and that was great. And you could eat a beautiful dinner for like $1 US dollar.
We used to spend like $5 a day for the 2 of us to eat 3 meals out.
Yeah. So while we were there, we spent a lot of time in Vietnam as well, and all throughout Asia.
Oh.
So I had this taste for a Vietnamese pho.
You know what pho is? Okay.
Pho is the large noodle soup.
Yeah, by the name pho, it means it's beef or pork based, okay? But there's a vegetarian version of it.
So Fran,
so I created
she just Googled a vegan pho on the internet, and we had it last night. And I had a little more for lunch today.
A little more, 3 bowls.
It is. And so you could create dishes from all over the world. You can experiment, and that's fun.
That's what we.
Yeah. Fran was never really a great cook.
No, because what a broiling white meat chicken.
but now it's her hobby rather than a chore.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Tonight we're going to have what's called drunken noodles, which is a Thai dish spicy Thai dish with broccoli and tomatoes and rice noodles. Delicious. You don't have to eat just beans and rice.
Funnily enough, I was thinking about asking you, and it kind of ties in with what you've just been talking about. Where would you say, because I know that you're both very well traveled, where would you say in the world is the best place you've ever eaten, you've ever experienced whole food, plant-based food? Good question.
I would say it's Thailand.
Yeah.
It's very high flavors, and it's simple food, easy to make curries and stir fries and noodle dishes. And so just Google like a Thai noodle dish, vegan. And
you can make pad Thai or all kinds of, we love Asian food.
We do as well.
Yeah, we do.
In fact, we watch, there are two YouTubers, one Korean, one Vietnamese, Lisa, the Viet vegan, and Rose is cheap, lazy vegan. And I've learned so much off both of them.
Oh, good.
That have incorporated noodle dishes and bibimbap and
love it.
Yeah.
Some incredible foods into our diet. We kind of, I suppose we're the opposite to you guys, really, because you did this 15 years ago for health. We did this 7 years ago for the animals.
Right.
But are now beginning to realize that we aren't benefiting our health as well as we could do with the amount of processed foods we've been eating. So before Christmas, we were on a bit of a journey. I've got Hench Herbivore's cookbook.
He's in there somewhere.
I know, I saw him. Hi, Hench. And we also follow Simnett Nutrition and the oil-free whole food plant-based kitchen show. The oil-free whole food plant-based kitchen show with Jill. And we love, that's the great thing about YouTube. It's like, you're an inspiration, they're an inspiration, we're an inspiration. It's, it's pretty, I think Hench asked a question.
Something about the brownies, I think it was.
Oh,
oh yes, Hench says, does Fran have a good recipe for black bean brownies?
Yeah, there's actually two recipes. One that I got from AJ, Chef AJ, and one from my friend that I took the cooking class with. You could never guess that it was made without flour.
Would you perchance consider making it into a vlog, Fran?
Well, we can get the recipe out to y'all.
Yeah.
We could email the recipe and maybe you could get it out to.
I'll give you both
people.
recipes and you can.
We could put it in the comment section below or something like that.
That'd be brilliant.
I'll do a vlog with it.
Yeah.
I love cooking vlogs. It's
it'd be Fran's black brownies. Yeah.
You guys are more experienced vloggers and bloggers. So we're pretty new to YouTube. So, Hannah, I have a question there.
Hi guys, this is from Hannah. Do you monitor your macros such as high protein, low fat?
Well, first of all, I get such a kick out of people's concern about protein.
No one's ever died from too much protein.
No,
or
nobody's
too little.
Yeah,
protein.
doctors that I've heard of have said they have never ever had a patient who was low in protein. What people don't understand is that protein comes from plants, and when they eat an animal, they're getting protein only because that animal ate plants. Okay. Animals don't produce protein; they eat protein, like we do.
So the meat eaters are getting secondhand protein.
We call it secondhand protein,
and they're getting arteries that are unhealthy over time.
Let me just explain about the fat part of the question. Until 2 years ago, we were not concerned about fat. First of all, we've never been overweight, either one of us. And I was using quite a bit of olive oil for cooking, not knowing there was a problem because we never had a heart problem. Then, well, fortunately, we switched to a whole food plant-based doctor here in town. And the first thing he had us do was read Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease by Caldwell Esselstyn. Read the book and realized that even if you don't have any symptoms yet, you could very well be clogging your arteries with fat, you know, from cooking. And it's all empty calories. You're not getting any nutrition. So we both cut out, you know, we cut out the using oil completely. I have no oil in the house. Wow. And we both lost weight, and we didn't even need to. We're eating more and weighing less. So low fat is not an issue because we don't eat oil.
She eats like a truck driver.
Yes, I don't swear like one. But let me tell you, there's no reason to eat oil. You can cook everything with using vegetable broth or water. Mm-hmm. So maybe the onions aren't as crisp as they would be if you used oil, but in the end, it tastes fine.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's been a big one for us because everything, even our salad, always had extra virgin olive oil. Yeah. And so I've actually had a bottle. I've still got half a bottle of extra virgin olive oil there on the shelf. It's been there about 3 months. Normally would be gone within a month.
Yeah. Oh, I used to use a big bottle all the time. But before COVID, we were doing some live presentations around town. And I would take with me to show people, you know, the spray bottle. Okay, it says zero.
Yeah.
I don't know if people don't realize that, that on that it says 1/4 of a second spray is 0 calories. But nobody sprays 1/4 of a second. You spray, and you're getting tons of oil. It's more oil. That's all that's in the can. So yeah.
I honestly, I particularly thought I would really miss having oil-based dressings on salads because I was always an absolute sucker for just your classic olive oil and balsamic.
Us too.
Always loved that, but I've not missed it at all. I really haven't.
Well, that's because it turns out balsamic was where all the flavor was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know.
And there's some vinegars that have nice spices in them, and you don't need oil at all. Somebody asked about alcohol. Well,
oh, Tom's asked. Yes. Tom has said, "Hi, Bob and Fran. Do you include any alcohol in your diet?"
Okay, Bob's going to answer this one.
Wine at 5 every night.
Are you familiar with the blue zones?
No.
Oh, you got to check out the blue zones. So just basically, the blue zones is an organization that has researched how many centenarians there are in the world, people that live to 100 or more.
Right.
They took a big map out and they put a blue marker around that area. So there are parts of Europe. There's parts in Japan, and he interviewed people living in those areas, and they all had a lot in common about what they ate. This is the Blue Zone book. You can get this from, I think it's free.
I don't think so.
I think you go to their website.
Oh,
okay. They've given some guidelines, and it's healthy eating, a healthy lifestyle, and they include wine at 5. So apparently these people, even though they were hardworking folks, they managed a little alcohol in their diet every day. We do have a glass of wine with dinner, and that's a treat for us. Maybe there are very strict vegans out there or plant food people that would be upset with us, but that's what we do. We don't overdo it, and it just, to me, it adds to the meal.
Yeah.
So we drink some wine, but nothing more than that.
No, very little.
I did want to mention one thing about another Paul, and that's Paul from
Hench.
Hench, her herbivore. he's been a sort of a mentor. He's a new friend to us, just as you guys are. But this guy is just the most giving person that I have ever met.
Oh, he's a big chunk of love.
Yeah.
No, we know Paul and Gemma.
Okay.
They're great. I'm glad you're friends.
In fact, I'm planning to do something from Hedge Herbivore's new whole food plant-based dessert cookbook very soon, because I've already done the Caribbean pineapple and black bean stew from his original cookbook, or their original cookbook, should I say. But yeah, couldn't agree with you more. He's a good lad. He's a good lad, that.
When we met him at Vegan Campout last year, and for some strange reason, I don't know why I was surprised at this, but the guy is just a man mountain.
Yeah.
I gave it. We had a hug because of course this was pre-COVID. We had a hug, and I think he actually like eased off a little bit because he was scared he might break me.
Right, there's one I missed there from Muddy Paws, who says, do all your family eat whole food plant-based? I think
no way.
No, but they're getting better at it. So
we have every level. Our son, who is our youngest child, lives in California, and he was vegan before us.
Right.
We have a daughter who lives in Orlando, Florida. She is mostly vegetarian, but she's made a lot of progress, and we're very happy with her. And then we have our other daughter who lives in Chicago, who is eats a lot of junk food. So we have the whole gamut, and we have found that not only with family but friends or acquaintances, and we've done a lot of in-person presentations. We just tell people what we do. We don't tell them. We don't tell them what to do or how to eat. We just say, this is what we do, and we try to walk the talk and look at us. And so you can't change anybody but yourself, and you guys know that. And Absolutely. When it comes to diet, it's the same thing. But Muddy Paws, it was a good question.
We have every animal in our family.
Now,
I'd say
I've just put the link to Bob and Fran's channel in the chat there, and would encourage you all to
visit.
Nikki asked a question.
Yes, Nikki's, and I'd just like to thank Chrissy for the super chat as well. Thank you, Chrissy.
Hi, you lovely couple. Do you take iodine supplement, or do you have seaweed like nori?
Okay, we do take an iodine supplement several days a week. Just put 2 drops in a little water. We usually have with lunch. The doctor just recommended that for our for thyroid. We really don't. I love seaweed salad. You know, if we go to a Japanese restaurant, which of course we're not eating out at all anymore right now.
We like it, but we don't fix it at home.
No, yeah. So we do use a little iodine.
Actually, Nikki, it's a good idea. So I'll work on my wife and see if we can get some at home.
What's that?
Seaweed salad.
Seaweed, nice. I love it.
We only found out not too long ago, really, from watching Simnett Nutrition, because Crystal, Derek's partner, was saying that she didn't like seaweed, and so she supplemented iodine, and then she talked about the importance of that for vegans, and said it's as important as B12.
Yeah.
Not having anything kind of seaweed related. So we vlogged about our new supplement, didn't we?
Yes.
Which includes iodine.
Okay, good.
And we started taking that a few weeks before Christmas.
Can I show Corey's comment? Do you just do that? You just press it
and it
comes straight on?
And it comes on.
I've never used StreamYard before. This is, in fact, I think this is the first or maybe the second time I've actually been on one of these interviews with you, isn't it? So,
oh, really?
So Corey said, just subscribed to the channel, as in Bob and Fran's channel. I'm 52. I could only hope to look as healthy and live as long as these two.
Corey, I'm 51 and I'm right with you there, kid.
Oh, thanks for the super chat, Peter. Any more questions?
What are your thoughts on...
Oh, do you want me to show that?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on raw diets?
We eat salads, but we don't follow any kind of a raw diet. We eat a lot of salads and a lot of fruit.
Now, for us, we sort of live to eat.
We love to eat.
And this is no offense to people who like raw diets, but just for us, we
never found
we'd find it. We just didn't need to do it.
But I will tell you, I just thought of this. We met a young woman when we were in Thailand who was very, very sick. I mean, she was really almost on death's door, and she went on a raw diet, and it turned her life around. So for some people, it's fine. It works.
Yeah. Fantastic. Any other questions, guys and gals, before we bring our lovely chat to a close, and then you can all go and have a look at Bob and Fran's channel.
Richard has wrote a note. It says, "Hi, Bob and Fran. Do you do meditation? Love your story also." Well, thanks, Richard, for commenting and your question. So yes, we are into meditation. That is part of what our channel is about. It's part of healthy aging. So we believe that if we can control our stress levels, and meditation is very good for that, we feel that stress is often a precursor to
almost every illness.
To disease.
Yeah.
So meditation, we try to meditate 2-3 times a day. We would encourage that, and we have, if you go to our channel at Young at Any Age, we have one whole section of on our playlist for meditations.
Fantastic.
This kind of ties into Kelly's question about yoga. Yeah.
That's why I put it.
We are probably one of the few people in the world that don't do yoga, but we are Qigong masters. We have practiced Tai Chi and Qigong, which are very similar, ancient Chinese wellness system for many, many years. Mm-hmm. So Qigong is like a meditation in motion. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to follow. We have about 30 Qigong videos on our channel. I don't want to overdo the channel thing, but that's part of our keys to healthy aging.
Amazing.
So Qigong, you just follow along. We do these teaching videos. They're all free, and it's our alternative to yoga. We think yoga is great too. Qigong is our preference.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I will certainly be checking some of those videos out, because I spent a lot of my youth doing different types of martial arts. So that kind of is right up my street in terms of starting to do a bit more in that area.
Check it out. You'll like it. It's fun.
We will. We will.
I'm looking at my paused question about favorite meal. God, that's a hard one to answer.
My favorite meal is what I'll have for dinner tonight. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I made a big pot of chili. I was going to serve it tonight, but then we set up a Zoom meeting with some friends for tomorrow. So I figured I'll save the chili. It's made already, and we'll warm it up for them, and we'll have some Thai food tonight.
I do think if I had to pick one favorite, it would be from our roots in Thailand. And Fran makes a fantastic curry from, what's the special one from Dwayne?
Yeah, it's got tamarind sauce.
It's a tamarind-based curry, and it is delicious. It's a masaman curry, so it has potatoes, mushrooms. And this, oh my God.
We eat a lot of mushrooms.
Amazing.
That's brilliant.
And Chrissy says, I've learned loads. Thank you.
Can I just mention one other thing? It's a little bit of an advertisement, but for those people that are interested in aging with good health, I just happen to have this book here that we wrote called 101 Ways to Be Young at Any Age. That's Fran and I down here.
That's brilliant.
It looks more like us than we do.
So this is a book. I think you can get this on Amazon. It's a lot of. We've gotten a lot of orders from the UK. It's a book about. It's got over 100. It's got 101 chapters, but they're all very short. So here's one on the importance of vitamin D, for example. I just opened to the book. The importance of vitamin D. It's only one page. So we advise you to read maybe one chapter a day, put it on your bedside table. And the proceeds all go, we don't keep any of it. So it all goes to fight child trafficking. I mentioned earlier that we have this organization, and every penny goes to fight the trafficking. We fight the trafficking by building schools and providing health services. We try to do it by preventing the cycle of the trafficking. We know a lot about that, and to really try to ward off these people that kidnap kids and put them in brothels and pull them out. We try to pull them out of brothels. They just wind up back in there. So we are about prevention. This book in US, I think it's $12 US on Amazon, but all of it would go to charity.
That's amazing, Bob. And if you, I mean, obviously we will, after this interview, you know, tomorrow or before the end of the week, you know, we'll find the book online and give you guys, I certainly will give you guys a shout out, because I think that's really admirable. Not just that the content of the book is really obviously accessible, easy to absorb, but also that the proceeds are going towards such an absolutely wonderful cause as well.
And if you want to have a look at the anti-child trafficking organisation that Bob and Fran are citing, if you go on their channel on a desktop computer, it's linked on the top right under the header. So yeah,
fantastic stuff.
We have this little slogan that we use, Jason, along with what you say. We say, feel good, look good, and do good.
Do good.
And that's sort of our mantra.
Brilliant.
When we meditate, we keep saying that. Oh, no, just kidding.
Fantastic stuff.
Thank you there.
Butcher to vegan. Wow.
Butcher, a vegan butcher.
The last 10 minutes.
Well, I know he was a butcher and he became vegan. I love it.
Oh, fantastic. That's great.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Butcher.
Our channels, won't you? That would be lovely.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
If everyone subscribes to both our channels.
That would be wonderful. We're just trying to spread the word just like you guys. No different.
Any final questions, guys, before we let Bob and Fran go about their day? We'll just have a chat. Well, it's been absolutely grand talking to you guys, and I think your story is incredibly inspiring for people of any age, but particularly for the older generation who say, "Oh, I'm too stuck in my ways now." Because there's a lot of people who think they are too old to cite their age as a reason for not changing. I'm too old to change now.
You're right.
You change at any age.
Absolutely.
You can be young at any age.
Oh, so good. You're so good.
And they proved it right there tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Just got to mention as well, I've got to give Mum and Dad a shout out, because Mum and Dad over the last 6 to 12 months especially, they've been doing remarkably well in switching lots of stuff out. So they're on their own journey, and they're both in their 70s, and they may never get to the point where they're completely whole food plant-based, but the fact that they're making the effort and recognizing the benefits of doing that, not just for the animals, but for the planet, and of course for their health. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, that's great.
Right. Well, we shall bring it to a close. Hand on heart, thank you, Bob and Fran, for taking the time to do this and for just being you, because you are an inspiration, clearly. And I think that you send a great message out there. Change at any age. Be young at any age.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
I've got to say as well, please do send us that brownie recipe.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bob and Fran are awesome. Would they please adopt Victoria and I? Wonderful.
I'll put you in touch, John.
Thank you both so much, and thank you to everybody for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
This morning, wherever you are.
No, it's afternoon.
You guys are great. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Bob and Fran, their link is in the description down there. They're amazing. You're all amazing for watching. We'll see you again soon. And until then, please be excellent to yourselves and each other.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.